Let's begin with Duke men's basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski, who has announced that he will be retiring after the upcoming 2021-22 season. Coach K has coached the Blue Devils since 1980, leading them to 5 NCAA titles, 12 Final Fours, 15 ACC tournament championships, and 12 ACC regular season titles. In addition, Coach K has led the U.S. national team to 3 Olympic gold medals in 2008, 2012, and 2016 as a head coach. He also served as an assistant coach on the iconic 1992 Dream Team. His resume is arguably the strongest of all time. So guys, how did you react to this news, and what will you remember most from Coach K's legendary coaching career?
My first reaction was good riddance. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a huge fan of Coach K or Duke. I think Coach K is pretty pompous, to be honest. Look, you lump all these fan bases together: Duke, Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees. Yeah, it was a rough day for the Yankee fans yesterday. They lost and Coach K retired. It just it's tough. I'm not a huge fan of him. I remember, what was it, last year? We're student journalists in a sense, we're student media. Some kid in a post game at Duke, or for the Duke paper, whatever, asked some innocent question about how do you feel after this loss, whatever. And Kay got all snappy with him and was like, well, how would you feel after you failed your bio test? Who cares? Who just says stuff like that? They're asking you a question. He's always come. I'm just not a huge fan of him. I'm not a huge fan of Duke. That being said, look, when you think college basketball, one of the first things that pops into your mind. He's an iconic coach. Duke is one of the most storied, iconic programs in college basketball history. He's coached some legendary players. Obviously, his bridge, as you mentioned, a lot of titles, accomplishments. So look, college basketball won't be the same without him. It's going to be very different. His assistant, John Shayer, I think is how you say his name, will be replacing him. So interesting to see what happens there. But I'm not going to shed any tears over this. I'm not a big fan of him. So, Andrew, what are your thoughts?
I think, the reason that Duke's, so not likable, and, everyone always gets on them and their fans. And, I'm guilty of that of times. And it's just because they're so successful. And for example, Mike, me, we're all Mets fans. You're a Jets fan. They've won forever. And you have Coach K, who made 12 Final Fours, 5 titles. Then these same fans are Yankee fans who obviously they have all the titles. And, it's at some point you're just why do these guys always win? And, you look at what he did. I didn't realize he was a coach for 42 years. That's a long time. And Mike, as you said, he's basically the face of college basketball right now. When you think of college basketball, you think of Duke, you think of Coach K. He built this perennial winner that, when you think of college basketball, you think of Duke. And this year when they weren't, right in the thick of it, you were like, what happened to Duke? But it was literally 1 year. I mean, he's obviously an awesome coach. He led that team for, I think for a very long time, ton of wins, tons, you can name all the accolades. But, I think now, he must be, he doesn't, he doesn't look that old, but I guess he must be obviously on the older side.
He's 74.
Yeah. At a certain point, you can't coach forever. And like you said, he was pompous. Maybe towards the end of the career, he was getting more like that.
He was always like that.
Yeah, I think it was more though now, and I think especially now, the type of players may not be as maybe he's kind of maybe a little past what the way basketball's played now, even college basketball, and I guess maybe that's why he kind of knew it was time to go. And credit to Duke for having, I think, a really good succession plan in place, like John Shayer. I like that they stayed in-house. I like that because Duke, they're always going to get the recruits. They're always going to get, all the, the high players, the national attention. And I like that, a lot of the, programs, they go outside, they try to get the big name when they probably don't need to. And especially Shayer used to play for Duke, was an assistant for a long time. I really like that move. And, for all the, the great players that, came through that Duke program. It's just really is super impressive what Coach K did.
Yeah, I know. I like what both of you guys said there. I love Mike's point about, grouping all the bandwagon teams into sort of one, the Yankees, the Cowboys, the Lakers, there's Duke. And I think to that point, they're very easy to hate if you're not a fan of one of those teams, if you're not a, a real fan. Yeah, Patriots, right? Throw them in there. We could go on forever. There's so many that, and the Warriors for the last 5 years when they had Kevin Durant. Yeah. People just becoming fans because they're going to win it all. But when you look at Duke, yeah, they're easy to hate. Coach K, he can be annoying just because they're always in the tournament, with the exception of last year, which was the first time I think they missed since '95. He's been there for 40 years. I'm not sure how many he missed, but I'm going to assume it was less than five.
They last time Duke didn't make the tourney was 2017. So I think. Wait, what?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't
Zion at that time.
No.
Zion in 2017. I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, I think it's 95, but I could be mistaken. But if you don't mind pulling up that stat. But again,
I don't know why I thought 2017, but I probably am wrong. I don't claim to be a. Keep talking. I'm looking.
Sure. Duke's been around for a long time, and Coach K, I mean, he's been around for so long. He was facing off against Michael Jordan in the 80s. He's seen all of these players go on to the NBA, some of the great players that have gone through his system. Yeah. College, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, college basketball won't be the same without him. College basketball is always evolving. It's always
it was sorry, Bridge. The last time they didn't make the tourney was 95. You're right. I was looking at the year above is because they listed the Sweet 16. That was a lot. They didn't make the Sweet 16 in 2017. That's what
got it. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Sure. I guess, yeah. And I mean, just sort of to close, I mean, Coach K has had one of the greatest runs of all time as a coach. I mean, this guy goes to the Olympics and coaches all the best NBA players, wins 3 gold medals there, was with the Dream Team for a while. It's just, I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything else to add.
He had 16 Elite Eight appearances.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Like him or not, this guy is, I mean, you can throw him up there for the GOAT of college basketball coaches.
I was just going to say the one thing I think is kind of interesting is how, I was actually on I was on the one-on-one that was right after when Roy Williams retired. So now it's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like when I think of one of them, I always think of the other guy. I always think of Coach K and Roy Williams together. Of course, Duke UNC rivalry. So, obviously, also Roy Williams had a long career at Kansas too, which is, unlike K, who was with Duke basically the whole time. But, it's weird now that they're both gone. Like they both retired in the same season, very similar. Their assistants are going to take over for them. I think that's just kind of crazy how when you think of college basketball now, I mean, the two of the icons are basically gone. I mean, sure there's still iconic coaches left. I mean, Calipari and Jay Wright, somewhat iconic, and Izzo, I think, is pretty iconic, but it's hard to top, Coach K. And I will say also the USA basketball. I mean, of course, we all love the United States basketball. So, props to that.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. And last year's season was weird. I mean, aside from the COVID things, Duke not being in the tournament, I think North Carolina being an 8 or a 9 seed, they're usually up closer to a 2, 3, even a 1. Yeah, and losing